Dylan is going to be streaming in a second. But there has been somebody that's been wanting to thank you. There's been someone that's been wanting to debate me for a while. So let me see. Do you still want to talk on the air? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you immaculately. Hello.
Hello. I'm not gonna say anything horrible. Okay.
Okay, good. I mean, I just know the thing that sometimes people have to worry about is like, okay, so I'm gonna have this person on, they have them on, and it's like, you're a fucking B, C, N, blah. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Okay.
I was thinking about that.
Okay, so you wanted to talk to me about why you think okay, you know what? You describe to me what you want to talk about.
Um, I just noticed in a lot of chat, like, 'cause I'm a big Destiny fan. I don't always agree with them, but whenever I go to other people's chats to try and get perspective on people on Destiny, they always say like, oh, he just does things for optics. He's just a grifter, or oh, he just thinks he's so smart, but he just uses debate tactics. And I've watched a lot of Destiny content. I just don't see that.
Okay. So I mean, I just my chat isn't necessarily like a direct like shadowing of like my opinions at all times. So like if my
That's
chat says that they don't like Destiny for XYZ reason, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the same reason why I don't like Destiny, or like they aren't always reflective of my exact opinions.
yeah, I can understand that.
Okay.
Um, I was just curious why you don't.
I mean, if you watch a lot of Destiny content, I think that's 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 a pretty obvious question. Yeah, I think that one's pretty obvious. I don't watch any of his content. I've never seen a Destiny video in my life. But
I only watch YouTube. It's hard for me to watch streams.
yeah, I've never, I've never seen a Destiny video. I've never seen a stream as well. The only thing I've ever seen, um, or the only I've only seen like the stuff that he does with other people I watch. So obviously, I watch Dylan's content as a result of me living here, and then I see Vosh's content. I don't really watch Vosh's streams, but I've seen basically all of Vosh's uploads. Um, and I've interacted with him personally, and then that's it. So, I mean, I am not a very easily biased person just because, for example, there's people like Mel from Twitter that people dislike quite a lot, but I've never had a conversation with Mel, and I've never had an interaction with Mel, so I have no feelings about Mel. But I've had conversations with Destiny, so I have feelings about Destiny. But all of those are directly correlated to conversations or um, interactions I've had with him. Yeah.
Um, okay, well, dang. I went back through so many videos, and I know that you're a big Vosh fan, and I was trying to
I
watch
am.
Vosh videos, and I was like, dang. I feel like a lot of like left content creators. I need to watch more Dylan. I need to make a note of that. But I feel like a lot of like left content creators really just do it for the optics. Like there's so many things where it's like, dude, just accept this loss and you'll be fine. You'll look good. It makes your positions much better. But they just don't want to let go. And I have no clue why.
Well, I guess that uh so all of this conversation depends on like what exactly are we trying to get to? Because are you trying to figure out why I don't like them? Are you trying to figure out why I like Bosch? Are you trying to figure out what's Dylan's opinion? I mean, like what
Well,
exactly do you want from me? Because when it comes to like whatever my chat says, my chat like is a lot more, they probably watch streamers more than I do. A lot of streamers don't really watch other streamers, so I don't watch any of his content. So if they say that they don't like him for XYZ reason, that's their opinion, but that doesn't necessarily reflect the opinions I have of him.
Um, this all like the reason why I messaged you first was only because I heard that you said like uh Destiny cares about optics more than we think, and then all your chat agreed, and I'm like,
Ooh,
okay,
okay, so I don't entirely recall that. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. I just don't recall it. Do you have a clip or no?
oh boy.
That doesn't. It's fine if you don't. I'm not like one of those people that are like, if you don't have a clip, then I don't believe it. I need receipts. I need audio at all times.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, if you don't believe that, then I'll.
I don't recall, so I would need to know the context. Like, let's say if it was just something I was saying broadly about him, then yeah, I don't recall. If you think it was like in relation to a certain situation, if you could like remind me of that, then I could give you more information.
I mean, it was hard only because it was if you care more about personality than position, you might be. I think I remember this was a few days ago. There's been a lot going on in my life. I remember
That's
there was
okay.
something with Vosh, and then there was a response, but it was such a passive thing because this was right after I think your Dominican Haitian debate thing.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I don't remember.
Okay. Okay, that's fine then. Um, yeah, so give me a moment to just try to rack my brain a little bit just to see what that might have been about. Um, I mean, I would say like a lot of people in general have a certain brand that they're revolving around, and that the way that they act online isn't necessarily the way that they'll act in person. Because a lot of people were kind of expecting that for your fist, Bosch and Destiny would just like to each other because that's the way that they've set up things online. Is that like if I ever see him in person, I'm gonna walk past him like I don't know him, and like they don't actually do that. I also think that like maybe some of the I think this is like a general issue with like a lot of streamers is that there'll be something going on and they have to get themselves involved in it and really like hype up the sensation that like whatever happened means a lot to them and that this is ruining their day. Whereas like as soon as they get off stream, they will um completely like go on about their day and they don't actually give a fuck about the situation. I think that's just like a general thing that I've noticed a lot about different types of streamers that I've met in person is that either like they will craft an image of themselves that isn't um that analogous to their real personality, or they just really have to like play things up. A lot of times people have to act like something is constantly weighing on their mind for content or views or whatever. And I don't think that there's any way that like Destiny is immune to this phenomena. It's like sometimes people will message me and say like, "Hey, did you see XYZ stream? I think they really need like some help right now." And then I message them and they're like, "Nah, I'm chill, homie." You know? But that might be different than what you're talking about. But just know that I don't personally have enough exposure to Destiny's content, his tweets, his videos, his opinions, his server, his Reddit, to really form to really form an opinion about him outside of what my experience has been with him directly and just like the latest round of Doe related tweets. But besides that, I don't have anything to say about him really.
Okay. I agree with like that first part that you were saying that like, but I think that's just like when I think about it, that just seems to make sense because this isn't like life or death. Like if you wanted to take Destiny versus Vosh and their whole drama that they bring up against each other whenever they make videos, and then somebody responds, and then there's that response to that. Of course, they're when if they met in person, they're not gonna like go to blows and like try and kill each other. Um, these arguments at the end of the day don't really matter. You know, if Destiny is correct or if Vosh is correct, it doesn't matter.
I
So it makes
think
sense
it's
that
a
like,
bit different than, I guess, normal life, though, because some of the stuff that people say to each other in this space, if it was like a coworker in an office that would say something like that to me, um, I would not just be as calm about it as the way that for some reason we all are. You know? Like the way
well,
uh sorry, I'll let you say what you're saying.
I feel like this is I think it's more palatable toward like Congress. I feel like this is how like Congress people pretty much interact. But here we have to care. We don't really care that much about optics because it's not going to go over national news. But like you see like AOC go and attack somebody, and then somebody else will be like, "Oh well, she's just a little girl and whatever," and they have blows at each other. But AOC's not attacking people. You know, on the outside, they could probably sit down and talk to each other like normal people, and that's how I feel like these content creators interact with each other. That online they'll go viciously toward each other, like on Twitter or whatever. But in person, if they met up to do like a real life panel or debate or something, they're not gonna like be. It's not gonna be a screaming match. They'll be a lot more professional about it because I don't think anybody really hates any other person. You know,
I think
even though
some
they
of
might
us,
disagree.
I don't know, it's really strange. I guess it's just like a general internet phenomena. I don't know because the way that some people are on here, if they were like at my school, I would not want them to even sit anywhere near them. I wouldn't want to look at them. I would like not want them to speak to me, but for some reason it just doesn't feel real. Um, I don't know why. It just doesn't feel as real or as impactful as if like it just in other scenarios. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the internet desensitization. I'm not sure what exactly causes us to not be as aggressive with each other as we would be online. Maybe we're all just a bunch of bitch babies. I really don't know what it is. It's really strange, honestly, because I mean, the fact that like I was even able to like go out for dinner with him when we were in Tennessee was strange because I know that like I would have if that would have been someone I like met IRL and knew IRL, like I would never want them within like 30 feet of me ever again. But
Um, I'm trying to think the best way to formulate this. I just feel like this is just how people would like. What would you expect? What would you expect to actually how things should be between like streamers and stuff versus
I
in
just
in like real life versus how they are in the internet. So we know how they are on the internet. Like I
I
don't know how Destiny is outside the internet. How would you
um
expect people to interact?
I wish that we would hold people to the same standards as we would for people in our actual lives. Because no matter how good someone's other opinions are, um, I don't think we are as tolerable of people in our real lives as we are of like certain content creators. I feel like I don't know. So I had a friend of mine who I don't know. We were pretty close friends, but I started learning more about like their political opinions, and then that like mixed in with just like some like work related stuff, and I was just like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And I was like, because of, your political opinions plus this, and like I held to that and I never like, wavered. Um, if there was somebody bullying somebody within my class and saying the type of things to them exactly the same way that Destiny would say things to people, I would not want to talk to that person. I think a lot of people would not want anything to do with that person. Um, Whereas for some reason it just doesn't matter that much here. And, I would go and tell my friends, oh, I don't want to talk to this person anymore because they said XYZ to this person. And a lot of people would be like, yeah, that's fair. I don't want to talk to them either. But here I can say, oh, this person said XYZ to this person. And for some reason in this space, it's like, Okay, I'll keep that as a note. And they still go on their show and stuff. It's just I'm not sure what it is. It's really unfortunate. I don't think anybody is held to such loose standards as for some reason we all hold each other accountable within the internet space, or I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm pretty new to this, so I'm not sure if this is a Twitch thing. I don't know if this is an internet thing. I don't know if this is a political thing. I don't know if this is because he's bigger than other people. I can't really say what the particular phenomena here is going on, but I can say that there is something inherently wrong with just how flimsy our standards are when it comes to certain people.
I would say that, and this has been a problem that I've noticed at my workplace, where they are highly conservative and I am not highly conservative. Um, that a lot of people in this country are absolutely opposed to the other half in this country. Um, and sometimes you're gonna have to deal with very complicated and upsetting like arguments, you know. So for example, like you're gonna have people that are gonna be hardcore Trump supporters, and as like a leftist, they're gonna come out and have a lot of Trumpy um, arguments, and you're gonna have to. You don't have to deal with them, but in this political space, that is the point of why we're here. Um, you're gonna have to deal with those things, and I think that's why it's easier for like Vosh and Destiny or Hassan or Dylan or anybody on any of these panels. They might see each other again and be like completely opposed to each other and say like vicious things to each other, like you guys are freaking idiots. You don't believe this. I think you're fascist. I think you're psychotic. But then they have to deal with each other again because they understand that their ideas are completely opposed to each other. Like that's what like when I look at conservatives and they say some crazy stuff to me, like the election was rigged, that's what I would expect from them. And even though I think that's crazy, I might call them crazy in person, I know I have to still deal with this person.
I
And I
think
I
there's a
don't
difference between being ideologically opposed to somebody and saying things that are just generally like abhorrent to them, and then everybody just sitting there and watching you do it, and everyone's like, it's okay. Did you see that last video they put out? Like, I guess it's just, um, it's kind of
oh
like the analogy of somebody saying like, my husband's been like beating me up, but at least he bought me this car, and it's like, does the car really negate like the really actively harmful thing that you're doing? Because like even if you've done a lot of good, I think there's a lot of people that have done a lot of good, but that doesn't mean that we don't just hold them to standards. And I think like that type of thinking is what leads a lot of people to never taking certain criticism seriously until it like just goes over the line. Like for example, um like Bill Cosby, a lot people in my family were just saying like they're just trying to like bring down a black person, even though there was overwhelming like evidence that like he did it. Like, what are you guys complaining about right now? But like they're so busy wearing like rose tinted glasses being but like, yeah, but like he had this TV show where he showed that like black people can be in the middle class, and like he's been a great comedian and da 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 da, and it's like that's great, but he's still like violated a bunch of people. But for some reason like that, like it's like just this tendency to continuously make excuses because of the good that you've done. It's like no one's trying to like backpedal on the good. We can still sit there and say this was something that was a net good, but at some point you can still say that someone's doing something fucked, and like you can condemn them for it. And I think for some reason there's this like tendency to just be like, no, like it's fine. And I'm not sure why. Is it just that like everybody's so happy that like their parasocial daddy is still online? Or is it a result of like everybody's too scared because he holds too much power over them? So all like the people online, or like I guess in the case of like content creators, no one's gonna say shit because they don't want to get steamrolled. And like in the case of like watchers, it's just something they don't care about.
I think it's more of, and this is something I've dealt with a lot, and I think like I constantly bounce between one getting more into politics and farther away from politics is that a lot of people deal with just emotional arguments. They might take something Destiny said and they will ignore. It's just like BLM. It was the biggest thing about BLM. They will ignore the entire BLM message and be like, "Yeah, but they rioted here." And it's
Okay.
like, "Okay, okay, calm down." But like this is the main message. This is what he's trying to get across. I feel like that's the biggest thing that people ignore with anybody, really anybody. Like when DGG attacks any other person that Destiny critiques, they might look at just like they said this thing instead of the actual like comment behind it.
I think it doesn't matter, I guess, how good of an argument or a general critique people are trying to give you, if you're completely packaging it in like violent, not even necessarily violent, but like just uncharitable language. It's really hard for anybody to take any type of criticism um well if you're making it offensively. Like when I was in high school, I like was really bored in my house a lot and I was like living in Haiti and I didn't have much to do. So during dinner sometimes I would take like seconds of like bread and my uncle would say if you keep on eating like that, we're gonna have to change the door so that we can fit you through it. There's a criticism in there, but I'm not hearing it. What you could say is maybe that many carbs aren't good for you, but what you're using is this language that all I'm doing is getting emotional because you're using such like unnecessary language that like I don't want to even necessarily get the message of what you're trying to tell me because you're just being a dick.
Um, so I can completely agree with that. I just want to say this real quick, just for anybody listening, that Destiny could probably defend himself a lot better than I can. Okay, I'm just a fan of his. I don't represent his entire ideals or anything. So if Destiny ever does hear about this, okay, he could probably defend himself better. But because what I think he would say is that that's just a straight up insult. That's not even just a critique. That's a literal insult. Like if I said like you need to put down the fork. That's just an insult. That's not a critique. Um, I find it weird because people will hold Destiny. It's really weird that Destiny will come out and be on a panel and be very calm and talk people through arguments and try and get people like this is where we disagree. Like you'll repeat this whole 30-minute monologue, but this is the part we disagree on. And then people will come out and be like, "You're disingenuous. You're just a fascist. You're just a conservative or whatever." And he'll be like, "Well, no one. I think you're just psychotic." And people be like, "Whoa,
Okay, so
you
there's
just
a
called
chance
me psychotic."
even if the argument, I guess, um when there's a chance that the well has been extremely poisoned when it comes to him as a person. So if there's like a 30-minute thing that he's going through and people are like, you're just a fascist or you're just a conservative, it's probably not a product of whatever he's saying right now. Or it's more like the culmination of what his effect is on the world, or like all the other arguments that he's had. Um,
Or what opponents of him has poisoned the well to say over like many, many, many conversations because they can't actually deal with fighting him. So if they poison the well before they have to encounter any of his ideas, they automatically win with their audience.
So also keep in mind, like this is where we're gonna end up having like things branch off because I'm speculating and you have examples that you're thinking of. But as I said, I don't watch I don't watch Destiny's content, so I can't tell you. Like if I could say like, oh yeah, actually in the conversation he had with I don't know, him, that wasn't true, but like I really don't know what you're talking about because I've never seen this happen and I don't know enough of Destiny's general life positions. I don't know enough of his like acquaintances, etc., to say whether or not it is justified for someone to call him a fascist or conservative or all these other things. So like I think we're having a bit of a divide, I guess, when I just don't know enough about this person besides my encounters with them, and what you're bringing up are not things that are directly related to me or things I've been in, because the only debates I've been in that had him in it were the ones about black people and drugs, race mixing, and the fascist conversation between him and Bosch. And these are the only things I've ever heard him talk about. So I can't tell you what the context is. I really just don't watch his content.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to keep it just between conversations with him and Vosh, because it's probably what you've experienced the most. If you just watch Vosh and hear about Destiny, that's probably the best.
Okay,
Um,
so yeah, all I've seen are the ones where he went and talked about the cages analogy, and that was like a 3 hour conversation. Um, and
have
then
you
I know that
watched
he had been on before, but I don't really remember those because those have been a while.
did
Yeah,
you watch I know you had Doomer on recently and he did that thing on Vosh.
I didn't watch the video, no.
Oh really?
I
Oh
watched
okay.
a video that he had about Dave Chappelle, but I haven't seen the Vosh one because I
Yeah.
saw the title kept on changing, so it and I don't know,
Yeah.
from what I had as a conversation with Doomer, it seems like after he makes the videos, he at times like has things that he would like to change about it. So if it's in an imperfect video, then that the person doesn't even entirely believe with anymore, agree with anymore, then I don't really see the point in watching it.
Uh um yeah, I to be honest I don't know if Doomer I know you guys talked about the Dave Chappelle, but I don't know if he changed anything about what he felt about Vosh. I don't think that ever came up. But I know that Destiny watched that, and that's how I actually learned about Doomer from that video. So I didn't know if you saw that or not.
No, I haven't seen it. I just know that everybody else was talking about it, but yeah, no, I don't know anything about the video. I know that Dylan watched it and spoke to Doomer about it, but I haven't seen it.
Oh. Nice, nice. Yeah, yeah.
Did you have any like additional questions, I guess, in relation to like I don't know, anything that had more to like I would know about or because yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not my community doesn't necessarily um perfectly reflect exactly my positions all the time. And even if, let's say, we have the same position, it might not be due to the same, experiences. So even if we come to the same conclusion, the justification of it is different. And what you're saying is a bit more justification based, where I say I don't particularly like him, but it's very different than what everybody else around me is saying for why they don't like him. For example, one of my moderators and my friends is on my channel and also moderates my chat. Really doesn't like Destiny, and he has a lot of different reasons for why he justifies it, but a lot of it has to do with a lot of history of things that he said over the years. And I only got involved in this level of political Twitch as of March. So and to me, all I think of Destiny as being is the guy that talks to Vosh sometimes and goes on panels sometimes, whereas for other people, who Destiny is may be described in a very different way.
Okay. Okay. And I just want to say, like, it's perfectly fine if you or anybody hates Destiny. There are probably very good reasons to hate Destiny. I was just curious. I remember I saw that. As I said, I don't recall exactly what exactly the context or whatever said, and then it triggered me. I was like, okay, let me just see the opposite side of the fence, and try and see if I can break hold of the Destiny grasp. Um, but it seems like it's a pretty nuanced. Like you don't really like hate them, or well, you might dislike them, but it's not enough to be like despise or whatever. Nothing to really like talk about, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you would like to learn more about why some people might not like Destiny, you could always join my Discord server, and there are some people I've noticed that were in chat that would be interested and knowing more about that person. There are some people that would be interested in like speaking to you. All you would have to do is just like you can filter through them. There might be people that might be a little bit more argumentative. There might be some people that are a bit more discussion. But I'm sure people in general would just be interested in having more conversation. Um, yeah, and there's definitely people that have a lot more opinions about the subject than I do. Cool. Okay. I mean, I don't know if they just dropped out suddenly, but hey. There goes the. Oh, your Discord freaked out. Okay, I was like, oh, you just hung up. Okay, I mean, that's fine. Okay, well, the person that we just had on is this person, this one. So, if any of you want to, I don't know if they want to join our server, then maybe they'll join our server. But if you don't want to join our server, maybe you can send them a whisper and just say, "Hey, I would like to talk." So yeah, overall, I hope that was an okay conversation for you guys. Um,